marshals are happy. Once the clerk of the course is happy with the lineup, we'll be underway. Over 15 minutes of racing, the final race of the weekend for the Mini Challenge Club Sport Championship is go. It's another good start by Freddie Hewitt. Looks like he's outpaced Ollie Wilmot from the front row of the grid, and somebody a bit slow at the way at the back. That's David Gibbons, I think, that's dropped to the rear of the field behind the Coopers. A bit of a slow start for one of our newcomers. It is certainly a crafted motorsport car, and it is once again Hewitt who leads up towards Druids for the first time. And so in all three races he's done that. Is this race going to follow the pattern of the first two in every way? They're all round Druids for the first time, okay. The leaders head back down towards the Cooper Straight. It is still Freddie Hewitt who leads the way. Battle already starting to be joined among the Cooper class. Wilmot in second, Langley third. Looks like Paul Sawyer's got away well up into fourth place. Once again, been making some demon starts this weekend. And going with them, that looks like it could be Ian Trundley up behind them. He's got away well. If so, in the number 41, side by side for the lead, Ollie Wilmot. Well, this is what he did in the previous two races. He's going to do it again. Straight down the outside of Freddie Hewitt and takes the lead. This is a carbon copy of the two races we saw earlier in the weekend. Sawyer under fire, it is Ian Trundley up there in fifth place. Another great start by him. Wyatt in sixth place. Steve Webb, not such a good start. He's down into seventh ahead of Ben Trundley. Then Johnson and Lingy round out the top 10. As for the Coopers, it's Jacob Baldry who got away best of them, just ahead of Dan Butcher-Lord. So Jacob Heap certainly didn't get the start he wanted. That's three wide from the Coopers. Chris Aram on the inside, and the middle was Daniel Truman, and Neil Clark got squeezed out around the outside. Now Truman to the inside of Graham Hill-Bent, so he's made up a couple of spots already in his chase for a Cooper class win, which would be his first of the season. So battle well and truly joined. They've got ahead of Lauren Fletcher in the 469, the R53 car. Side by side there up into Paddock Bend. Ollie Wilmot runs a little bit wide on the exit. That's Ian Trundley attacking to try and go through on Paul Sawyer there for fourth place. Andy Langley closing down Freddie Hewitt as well. Sawyer goes out wide through the hairpin at Druids. His teammate John Wyatt is in there behind him as well in the 777 car. Sawyer stays ahead and still leads the R53 class as well. Dudley there from Cardiff, the number 7 car in 12th place. Looking back towards the Cooper class, it is Jacob Baldry who leads Dan Butcher-Lord. There's Jacob Heap in third place ahead of Colin Wilmot. Dan Truman still only 5th in class at the moment in the number 19. Across the stripe come the Cooper leaders. The overall leaders have already gone through. So under 1.5 seconds is Ollie Wilmot's lead over Freddie Hewitt now. On the inside, Chris Aram, very late on the brakes. He's all over the place. Is he going to save it? Coming down Paddock Bend. Amazingly, he has. That's the save of the weekend from Chris Aram in the number 14. I thought for certain there he was going to bounce off John Gibbons' car there and go flying into the gravel trap. Amazingly, he got the car slowed down and around Paddock Hill Bend and down the hill. Although I think he'll be making a stop for some new underpants this time by. That was a scary moment there for the number 14. Let's have a look at that again. He dove up the inside of David Gibbons, completely misses his braking point, throws the car sideways to try and slow it down. That's how you corner in a classic Mini through there, not a BMW Mini. Brilliant save from Chris Aram, and he carried it past Lauren Fletcher as well. That was remarkable bit of driving. Back towards the front of the field now. This is Paul Sawyer under fire from John Wyatt. They've got Steve Webb up behind them. This is the battle for 5th position. I saw a puff of tyre smoke. Somebody's locked up possibly through Graham Hill Bend there. Still plenty of laps to go in this final race of the weekend for the Mini Challenge Club Sport, with Ollie Wilmot in dominant form. He's already 2 seconds clear of Freddie Hewitt at the front of the field. As Steve Webb has a look at the back of John Wyatt in the 777. And from Brentwood in Essex on his local circuit this weekend. Behind Steve Webb we have Ben Trundley, Chris Johnson, Adrian Lingy rounding out the top 10. First of the R53s is Paul Sawyer, second is Ben Trundley, third Chris Johnson. They plunge their way through Paddock Hill Bend once again. Lead gap is up to 2.5 seconds now for Wilmot ahead of Hewitt. Well, nobody can live with Ollie Wilmot. Maybe a move into the trophy category of the mini challenge could be in the offing in months to come. This very talented racer. Here comes Jacob Heap having a look at Dan Butcher-Lord as they go round Druids Hairpin. This is the second in the Cooper class, and yes, Jacob Heap moves through in the Golf livery car. He wants a hat-trick of class wins this weekend. Along the Cooper straight, still Jacob Baldry that leads that class. It's Heap, Butcher-Lord, Colin Wilmot is next then. Daniel Truman behind him. Colin Wilmot's a little bit of corner cutting there. Neil Clark behind them. Over the line goes Neil Clark with Lauren Fletcher to the outside, one of our novice racers, the NT219. Behind Neil Clark. Now she's got John Gibbons, I think that is behind her. As the Coopers head down into Graham Hill Bend. Leader Ollie Wilmot just set a new fastest lap of the race, 55.716 for the Swiss-based driver. Dan Butcher-Lord under fire from Dan Truman, has a look up the inside, they door handle together. And that's Colin Wilmot's, apologies, not Dan Truman, door handling together with Dan Butcher-Lord there as they came through clearways. Wilmot's got the inside line, but Dan Butcher-Lord keeps his foot in. Steve Webb still all over the back of Paul Sawyer here, who still leads class R53. Small gap to Ben Trundley behind them, and it's Chris Johnson. Across the stripe go the second, third and fourth place cars. It's Ian Trundley having his strongest run of the weekend here, holding on behind Andy Langley. Could he get in contention for a podium here? Ian Trundley in the Norfolk cars, number 41, the man from Kings Lynn. That's Steve Webb in the 231. Now, has he got ahead of Paul Sawyer? I think he has. Paul, one of a number of similarly coloured cars in this race, of course, run by the Crafted Motorsport team. Yes, he has got ahead there, Steve Webb. That's up into P5. P6, I should say. With Ben Trundley behind them in the 16. Just over 6 minutes of this third race for the weekend for the Mini Challenge Club Sport Championship with Airtech Motorsport to go, and this is the battle for the lead in the Cooper class. They're down in 13th and 14th overall, but nothing between Jacob Baldry and Jacob Heap, apart from a couple of mini lengths. Across the line they come. Baldry even his first class win of the season. Former junior saloon car man. In the Cooper class, Colin Wilmot coming under fire from Daniel Truman now after his fairly slow start to the race. Then we've got a couple of the R53s, John Gibbons on the tail of Lauren Fletcher. Inside, Jacob Heap has another look. That's a better run into Surtees, and he's done it. Jacob Heap takes the lead of the Cooper class. Now, can he hold on to it? So 4.5 minutes to go now. Main focus, once again, is for the lead of the Cooper class. No problem overall for Ollie Wilmot. He's nearly 7 seconds ahead now, I think, of Freddie Hewitt. Further 1.25 seconds back to Andy Langley in third. Here comes Colin Wilmot now attacking Daniel Truman, the number 19. These two having a decent little scrap a bit further back down the order. Colin Wilmot gets the move done at Surtees. Like father, like son in this race. Son Ollie is currently nearly 7 seconds ahead of Freddie Hewitt in the overall classification, with Langley third, Ian Trundley fourth, and John Wyatt rounding out the top 5. There's the leader, disappearing into back marker traffic at the moment. Look, somebody running wide there. It's one of the crafted motorsport cars. I think that might be John Gibbons. He's got a wheel arch flapping in the breeze as a result. Ollie Wilmot had to go way wide there to avoid those two back markers, but now comes through to Lapper, including his father. He gave him a wave on his way past. This is John Gibbons running wide through the gravel, which does its job, and John able to drive out again with no problem except that little bit of bodywork damage. Blue flag being waved at the back markers to warn the leader is approaching to come up to lap them. Still the battle in the Cooper class goes on. Is that Ollie Wilmot trying to lap them? Bit of damage there on the back of that's John Gibbons' car. That's the one where he went off at Paddock Hill earlier on. He's dragged the car through the gravel. He's trailing the rear bumper. Our leader, meanwhile, Ollie Wilmot, has just lapped the Cooper class leaders. Andy Langley charges past a couple of back markers there. He's still safe in third place, just under a second behind Freddie Hewitt. There's Hewitt. Been a fairly quiet race at the front of the field in this one, as Freddie Hewitt comes up to lap Colin Wilmot. Daniel Truman staying ahead of Neil Clark, but Truman certainly hasn't had everything his own way in the Cooper class this weekend. It's been Jacob Heap and Jacob Baldry, the star men. 1 minute to go now. Ollie Wilmot heading for his hat-trick. He's over 6 seconds clear of Freddie Hewitt. There's Jacob Heap across the line. 1 lap to go this time for Ollie Wilmot. There he is going through Druids. We may not have made the best starts from pole position in each race, giving best to Freddie Hewitt each time. But he's made up for it with some dominant race performances, picking up exactly where he left off in the Mini Challenge Club Sport Championship in 2025. He's well clear of Freddie Hewitt in second. Clock about to count down to 0, so looks like it will be checkered flag this time. And a perfect hat-trick for the number 70 of Ollie Wilmot. He makes it 3 out of 3 in the Mini Challenge Clubman Championship here at Brands Hatch. Well clear of Freddie Hewitt in second, and Andy Langley in third. Ian Trundley gets his best results of the weekend in fourth. John Wyatt in 5th place, then Steve Webb. Chris Johnson. I'm not seeing Paul Sawyer coming through on that final lap. Have we lost Paul? No, he has come through in P11, so he's dropped back there in the closing stages. So whether Paul had a problem, I'm not sure. But that means that the R53 class goes to Chris Johnson in the 219. And what about the Cooper class? That went to Jacob Heap. We saw him get past Jacob Baldry to take the class victory. Provisional results coming up then. Our final race for the Minis. Thanks to our marshals there, giving the drivers some acknowledgement, the drivers waving back. So Ollie Wilmot wins by 7.24 seconds this time over Freddie Hewitt, with Andy Langley once again on the podium in third. Ian Trundley a fine fourth ahead of John Wyatt and Steve Webb. Chris Johnson wins the R53 class ahead of Ben Trundley. And Lingy and Sinfield rounding out the top 10. The Cooper class, that went to Jacob Heap, a hat-trick of wins for him this weekend, ahead of Baldry, Colin Wilmot, Neil Clark and Daniel Truman, only 5th in class, the reigning champion. Let's head down to Parc Fermé then with Ian.
Hello everybody, welcome. We very managed to just flag Ollie Wilmot down. Ollie, sorry about that, but we went out to quick chat. You 3 from 3, must be delighted.
Absolutely amazing, what can you say? Let's keep on going.
Perfect way to start the season, because you just seem so in tune with this car.
It's very good, and especially me and Ben working together is just phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. I know Freddie's been nipping at your heels a little bit, but you've just got the measure of him, haven't you, so far this weekend? But I'm sure he'll come back at you some point this season.
Oh,
right?
Definitely. Like last year, he'd come back straight away, and it'd be a good battle, let's say that way. Especially with Andy as well.
I better let you go before you get told off. Cheers, Ollie. Thanks for stopping. The Mini Club Sport, that rounds out their weekend here. They're heading back to the outer paddock. I thought one or two we might get a few more to stop, but unfortunately not. What we have next, though, is the final race of the weekend for TCR. What that means is we're just going to go for a